Welcome back. We're diving into week 4 of the 2024 college football season. The week is just about wrapping up here with the games. Let's start with Illinois beating Nebraska on Friday night. Great win for Illinois. They stay undefeated on the year. For Nebraska, when will the pain and suffering ever end when it comes to a one-possession game? They are now 8-31 in one-possession games going back to 2018. Their last ranked win was against Oregon in 2016, and they have now had 25 consecutive losses versus AP top 25 teams. Yikes. And Nebraska has a great fan base. Everyone knows that, but if you're a Nebraska fan, this has got to be killing you. Pretty good game. Dylan Raiola looks good. He's not polished all the way, but you can see the raw talents there, so Nebraska's going to be fine, but so many people were so high on the Cornhuskers in the offseason and then going into these first couple weeks here. And there was talks about they could be undefeated when they play Ohio State in Columbus. And it's like, okay, we'll pump the brakes a little bit. They got to work some things out, but these records and these 25 consecutive losses and the 8-31 in one-possession games, that's got to be killing you. Michigan beats USC. That was another great game, and they did that with no offense. So Alex Orji got the start. Can't really throw, but he can run, or is supposed to be able to run. Warren, who was the previous starter at quarterback for the Wolverines, he just couldn't do anything. Couldn't run, couldn't throw. And Michigan was a lot better on the ground. Part of that is they're playing to one of Alex Orji's strengths, or his only strength in the run game, but Donovan Edwards got loose. The O-line looked better. The Michigan D-line looked pretty good and was in the backfield and all over Miller Moss, so they applied a lot of pressure. But man, it felt like USC was going to take that game, and they were making big plays late, moving the ball offensively. Obviously, Will Johnson comes up with a huge pick six. That swung the game a little bit there, but USC swung it back. So great game. Michigan had nothing, no production, no yards in the second half until that big-time run to set up their game-winning touchdown score late in the fourth. So they pulled it out, but good for Michigan, good for Sharon Moore. For Lincoln Riley, it felt like that they were going to wrap this one up, and no. Okay, let's move on to Notre Dame, who I'm just convinced is bipolar. They lose to NIU a couple weeks ago. Last week they played Purdue, and they win 66-3 or something like that. And then this week they're struggling with Miami, Ohio. They were down 3-0, going on midway or late in the second quarter, down 3-0. Now they pulled away, and I think they won 28-3. Riley Leonard finally threw his first touchdown pass. It's been a little scary that it's taken a couple weeks to get that. So they're just really up and down. And the biggest thing is that you can't trust Marcus Freeman. We've seen that, and we've been burned too many times. Losing to NIU, losing other games you shouldn't have lost to, like Marshall and Stanford a couple years ago. He's only winning 70% of his games. So Notre Dame's in a really interesting spot because you can't trust them, and you can't trust Marcus Freeman. But I do think they control their own destiny. If they went out, an 11-1 Notre Dame team is probably not going to miss out on the 12-team playoff. Now, it's hard to say that because we don't know what the field is going to look like around them, but I really think they control their own destiny. So if you win, survive, and move on, that might be good enough at least for them to get in the playoff.